Have you ever found yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep escapes you? You're not alone. Countless people around the world experience this mysterious early morning awakening, often between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. But what if I told you that this isn't just a random occurrence or an annoying sleep disturbance? What if these early hours hold a secret, a gateway to spiritual growth and personal transformation? Imagine for a moment that every time you wake up during these hours, it's not just your body stirring, but your soul reaching out, trying to tell you something important. This time, often called the spiritual hour or holy hour, might be your spirit's way of nudging you towards a higher purpose. It's as if the universe is gently tapping you on the shoulder, inviting you to listen closely to the whispers of wisdom that are often drowned out by the noise of daily life. But here's the catch. Most people don't know what to do when they wake up at this time. They toss and turn, check their phones, or worry about not getting enough sleep. What if I told you that by doing just 3 simple things during these early wake-ups, you could transform this experience from frustrating to life-changing? These 3 practices are so powerful, yet so simple, that anyone can do them. And the best part? They have the potential to shift your entire day, week, and even your life in a more positive, purposeful direction. Are you ready to unlock the spiritual potential of your early morning awakenings? Are you prepared to turn what might feel like a sleep problem into a profound opportunity for growth? If so, keep watching, because I'm about to share with you the 3 essential things you should do if you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. These practices could be the key to unlocking a deeper connection with yourself, the universe, and your highest purpose. Let's dive in and explore the hidden power of those quiet, early morning hours. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.? Well, let's dive into the fascinating world of spiritual timekeeping and discover why these early morning hours have been revered across cultures and throughout history. In many spiritual traditions, the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are considered a sacred time, a special window where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is at its thinnest. This time is often referred to as the spiritual hour or the holy hour. But why? What makes these pre-dawn hours so spiritually charged? Think of it this way. During these early morning hours, the world around us is at its quietest. The hustle and bustle of daily life hasn't yet begun. Nature itself seems to hold its breath in anticipation of the new day. In this stillness, many believe that it's easier for us to hear the whispers of the universe, to connect with our inner wisdom, and to receive spiritual guidance. In Chinese medicine and philosophy, each organ in our body is believed to have a 2-hour period where its energy is at its peak. The hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are associated with the lungs, which in Eastern thought are connected to grief and letting go. This might explain why you sometimes wake up feeling emotional or with a strong urge to release something from your life during these hours. Many religions also place special significance on these early morning hours. In Christianity, the hours between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. are sometimes called the God hour or the Christ hour. It's believed to be a powerful time for prayer and spiritual connection. Similarly, in Hinduism, the pre-dawn hours, known as Brahma Muhurta, are considered the most auspicious time for meditation and spiritual practices. But you don't need to follow any particular spiritual tradition to benefit from this special time. The key is to understand that when you wake up during these hours, you're being presented with a unique opportunity. It's as if the universe is offering you a quiet moment, free from distractions, to connect with your deeper self and the world around you. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I'm not a spiritual person. Does this still apply to me? The answer is a resounding yes. You see, spirituality doesn't have to mean adhering to a specific religion or belief system. At its core, spirituality is about connecting with something larger than yourself, whether that's nature, the universe, or your own inner wisdom. It's about finding meaning and purpose in life and developing a sense of interconnectedness with the world around you. So, when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., try to shift your perspective. Instead of feeling frustrated about losing sleep, try to see it as a gift, a special time that's all yours, free from the demands and distractions of daily life. It's a time when your mind is often clearer, your intuition sharper, and your connection to your inner self stronger. But here's the thing, just waking up during these hours isn't enough. To truly tap into the spiritual potential of this time, you need to know what to do. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. I'm going to share with you 3 powerful practices that can help you make the most of these early morning awakenings. These practices are simple, yet profoundly effective in helping you connect with your spiritual side and set a positive tone for the rest of your day. Remember, the goal isn't to force yourself to wake up at this time every day. That would just be another form of stress. Instead, when you do naturally wake up during these hours, you'll now have the tools to turn it into a meaningful, even transformative experience. So, let's move on to explore why you might be waking up at this time. And then we'll dive into the 3 essential practices that can help you make the most of these special hours. Before we dive into the 3 powerful practices for making the most of your early morning awakenings, let's take a moment to understand why you might be waking up during these hours in the first place. After all, knowledge is power, and understanding the potential reasons behind these wake-ups can help you approach them with a more open and receptive mindset. Now, it's important to acknowledge that there are many common, everyday reasons why you might find yourself awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Stress is a big one. When we're worried about something, be it work, relationships, or finances, our minds can become overactive, jolting us awake in the early hours. Then there's noise, maybe a car alarm going off in the distance, or a neighbor coming home late. Our sleep environment plays a role too. If your room is too hot, too cold, or too bright, it can disrupt your sleep cycles. Speaking of sleep cycles, they're another key factor. Our sleep isn't one long, continuous state, but rather a series of cycles. Each cycle lasts about 90 to 110 minutes, and we typically go through several cycles each night. Sometimes, we naturally wake up briefly between these cycles. If this happens to coincide with the 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. window, you might find yourself more fully awake than usual. There are also physical factors to consider. If you've had caffeine too late in the day, or if you've eaten a heavy meal close to bedtime, it could affect your sleep patterns. Health issues like sleep apnea, hormonal changes, or certain medications can also lead to early wake-ups. But here's where it gets interesting. While all these factors can certainly contribute to waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., there might be something deeper at play, something that goes beyond the physical and taps into the spiritual realm. In many spiritual traditions, waking up during these hours is seen as a sign, a nudge from the universe, if you will. It's believed that during these quiet, pre-dawn hours, the spiritual world is trying to communicate with us. Your higher self, your spirit guides, or the universe, whatever resonates with your beliefs, might be trying to get your attention. But why? What could be so important that it's worth interrupting your sleep? Well, there could be several reasons. Spiritual awakening. Sometimes, these early wake-ups coincide with periods of significant personal growth or spiritual awakening. It's as if your soul is stirring, ready to evolve and expand. Messages or insights. The quiet of the early morning can be the perfect time to receive intuitive insights or spiritual messages. Your conscious mind is still quiet, making it easier for your intuition to come through. Call to action. These wake-ups might be a call to take action in your life. Perhaps there's something you've been putting off, a decision you need to make, or a path you need to start walking. Emotional release. Remember how we mentioned that in Chinese medicine, these hours are associated with the lungs and the emotion of grief? Sometimes, these wake-ups might be your body and spirit's way of processing and releasing pent-up emotions. Alignment check. It could be a prompt to check in with yourself and see if you're living in alignment with your true purpose and values. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that every time you wake up at 3 a.m., it's a spiritual event. Sometimes, you might just need to use the bathroom. But by opening yourself up to the possibility that these wake-ups could have a deeper meaning, you're creating space for profound insights and personal growth. The key is to approach these awakenings with curiosity rather than frustration. Instead of immediately trying to force yourself back to sleep, take a moment to tune into yourself. How do you feel? What thoughts are going through your mind? Is there something your intuition has been trying to tell you? By shifting your perspective on these early wake-ups, you're already taking the first step towards transforming them from a nuisance into a powerful tool for spiritual growth and self-discovery. And that's exactly what the 3 practices we are about to explore will help you do. These practices are designed to help you make the most of these early morning hours, whether you believe they're spiritually significant or not. They'll help you center yourself, connect with your inner wisdom, and set a positive tone for the rest of your day. So, even if you're skeptical about the spiritual aspect, I encourage you to keep an open mind. You might be surprised at the positive impact these simple practices can have on your life. Remember, the goal isn't to force spiritual experiences or to stress about whether you're doing it right. The goal is simply to be present, to listen to yourself, and to use this quiet time in a way that feels meaningful and beneficial to you. So, are you ready to discover these 3 powerful practices? Let's dive in and explore how you can transform your early morning wake-ups into opportunities for growth, insight, and inner peace. Certainly, I'll continue with the next 3 sections of the outline, maintaining the same style and tone. Now that we understand the potential significance of waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., let's dive into the first of our 3 powerful practices, mindful breathing. This might sound simple, and in many ways it is, but don't let its simplicity fool you. Mindful breathing can be a gateway to profound spiritual experiences and a powerful tool for centering yourself in those early morning hours. So, what exactly is mindful breathing? At its core, it's about bringing your full attention to the act of breathing. It's about noticing the sensation of air flowing in and out of your body, the rise and fall of your chest, the rhythm of your breath. But it's more than just noticing. It's about fully experiencing each breath, as if it were the most important thing in the world at that moment. When you wake up in those early hours, your mind might be racing with thoughts, worries, or to-do lists for the coming day. Mindful breathing gives you a powerful tool to calm this mental chatter and bring yourself into the present moment. It's like dropping an anchor in the stormy sea of your thoughts, helping you find stillness and clarity. Here's how to practice mindful breathing when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. First, don't rush to turn on the lights or check your phone. Instead, stay in bed and make yourself comfortable. You can lie on your back or sit up if that feels better. Close your eyes gently. This helps to minimize distractions and turn your attention inward. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your belly expand as you do so. Then, breathe out slowly through your mouth. Do this a few times to help your body relax. Now, let your breathing return to its natural rhythm. Don't try to control it. Just let it be. Bring your full attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the air as it enters your nostrils. Feel your chest and belly rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. If your mind wanders, and it probably will, don't worry. That's completely normal. When you notice your thoughts drifting, gently bring your attention back to your breath. No judgment, no frustration, just a gentle redirection of your focus. Continue this for a few minutes, or for as long as feels comfortable to you. This practice might seem too simple to be effective, but give it a try. You might be surprised at how powerful it can be. Many people report feeling more calm, centered, and connected after just a few minutes of mindful breathing. But why is mindful breathing so effective, especially during these early morning hours? Well, there are a few reasons. First, it helps to calm your nervous system. When you wake up unexpectedly, especially if it's due to stress or anxiety, your body might be in a state of mild fight or flight. Slow, mindful breathing helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, helping you to relax and feel more at ease. Second, mindful breathing creates space between you and your thoughts. In those early morning hours, it's easy to get caught up in worries or mental chatter. Focusing on your breath gives you a bit of distance from these thoughts, allowing you to observe them without getting tangled up in them. Third, and perhaps most importantly from a spiritual perspective, mindful breathing helps to align your body, mind, and spirit. In many spiritual traditions, the breath is seen as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. By focusing on your breath, You're creating a harmonious connection between these different aspects of yourself. Some people even believe that during these early morning hours, when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is thought to be thinner, mindful breathing can open you up to spiritual insights or messages. Whether or not you believe this, many people report feeling more intuitive, more connected to their inner wisdom after practicing mindful breathing during these hours. Remember, the key to this practice is gentleness and patience. Don't try to force anything. If you find yourself getting frustrated or trying too hard, that's a sign to ease up a bit. The goal isn't to achieve some perfect state of mindfulness. It's simply to be present with your breath, whatever that looks like for you in that moment. Also, don't worry if you fall back asleep while practicing mindful breathing. That's perfectly okay. In fact, many people find that when they do fall asleep after this practice, their sleep is more restful and they wake up feeling more refreshed. By starting your early morning awakening with mindful breathing, you're setting a tone of calm awareness for the rest of your experience. You're creating a space of stillness and receptivity, which is the perfect foundation for our next practice, gratitude. So let's move on and explore how cultivating gratitude can further enhance your early morning spiritual practice. Now that you've centered yourself with mindful breathing, it's time to move on to our second powerful practice, gratitude. Gratitude might seem like a simple concept, but when practiced intentionally, especially during these spiritually potent early morning hours, it can have a profound impact on your mindset, your day, and even your life. So, what exactly do we mean by a gratitude practice? It's more than just saying thank you when someone does something nice for you. A gratitude practice is about consciously focusing on the good things in your life, acknowledging them, and allowing yourself to really feel appreciation for them. It's about shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have, from what's wrong to what's right. When you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., after you've done your mindful breathing, try this gratitude practice. Start by bringing to mind something you're grateful for. It can be something big, like your health or your family, or something small, like the comfort of your warm bed or the peace of the early morning quiet. Once you have something in mind, really focus on it. Visualize it clearly in your mind's eye. Now, let yourself feel the gratitude. Notice where you feel it in your body. Maybe it's a warmth in your chest, a smile on your face, or a sense of expansiveness in your heart. Silently express your thanks for this thing or person or experience. You can use words if you like, or just allow the feeling of gratitude to flow through you. Repeat this process for at least 2 more things you're grateful for, so you have a total of at least 3. This might sound simple, but don't underestimate its power. Practicing gratitude, especially during these early morning hours, can have several profound effects. First, it shifts your energy. When you wake up in the middle of the night, it's easy to feel annoyed, anxious, or frustrated. Gratitude immediately lifts your vibration, helping you to feel more positive and open. Second, gratitude helps to put things in perspective. Whatever worries or problems might have woken you up, focusing on what you're grateful for can help to balance out your perspective, reminding you that there's still good in your life alongside any challenges. Third, gratitude opens your heart. Many spiritual traditions talk about the importance of an open heart for spiritual growth and connection. By practicing gratitude, you're literally opening your heart energy, making you more receptive to spiritual insights or guidance. Fourth, gratitude is a powerful manifestation tool. There's a saying that what you appreciate appreciates. In other words, when you focus on the good things in your life with gratitude, you tend to attract more good things. By practicing gratitude in these early morning hours, you're setting a positive tone for manifestation throughout your day. Now, you might be wondering, what if I'm going through a really tough time? What if I can't think of anything to be grateful for? This is a valid concern, and it's important to address it. The truth is, there are always things to be grateful for, even in the darkest times. It might be as simple as the air you're breathing, the fact that you have a bed to sleep in, or the ability to think and feel. In fact, practicing gratitude during difficult times can be especially powerful. It's easy to feel grateful when everything is going well, but when you can find things to appreciate even in the midst of challenges, that's when you're really flexing your spiritual muscles. That's when you're demonstrating true resilience and positivity. Remember, the goal of this practice isn't to deny or ignore any negative feelings or experiences you might be having. It's not about forced positivity or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about expanding your awareness to include the good alongside the bad. It's about reminding yourself that even in difficult times, there are still things to appreciate. As you practice gratitude in these early morning hours, you might find that the things you're grateful for change from day to day. Some days, you might feel grateful for big things like your relationships or your achievements. Other days, you might find yourself appreciating simple pleasures like the sound of rain on your roof or the comfort of your favorite pajamas. All of these are equally valid focuses for your gratitude. Over time, as you continue this practice, you might notice that you become more aware of things to be grateful for throughout your day. You might find yourself pausing to appreciate small moments that you would have overlooked before. This is one of the beautiful side effects of a regular gratitude practice. It trains your mind to notice the good in your life. By combining mindful breathing with gratitude, you're creating a powerful spiritual practice for these early morning hours. You're centering yourself, opening your heart, and shifting your energy in a positive direction. But we're not done yet. There's one more practice that can really supercharge your early morning spiritual routine. Let's move on to our third and final practice, setting intentions. Now that you've centered yourself with mindful breathing and opened your heart with gratitude, it's time for the third and final practice in our early morning spiritual routine, setting intentions. This practice is all about harnessing the spiritual power of these early hours to shape your day and, ultimately, your life. But what exactly do we mean by setting intentions? An intention is different from a goal or a to-do list item. While goals are about achieving specific outcomes, intentions are about how you want to be. They're about the energy you want to bring to your day, the qualities you want to embody, or the areas of your life you want to focus on. For example, a goal might be finish the report by 5 p.m., while an intention might be approach my work with focus and creativity. A goal is something you do, while an intention is a way of being. Here's how to practice intention setting when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After your gratitude practice, take a moment to think about the day ahead. What kind of day do you want to have? How do you want to feel? What qualities do you want to bring to your experiences? Based on your reflections, choose one or two intentions for the day. Keep them simple and positive. For example, I intend to approach challenges with patience and wisdom, or I intend to be fully present in my interactions with others. Once you've chosen your intentions, say them to yourself silently or, if you prefer, whisper them aloud. As you do this, try to really feel the intention. Imagine yourself moving through your day embodying this intention. If you like, you can visualize your intention as a ball of light in your heart, growing brighter as you focus on it. Finally, release your intention to the universe. Trust that it has been heard and will guide your day. This practice of setting intentions during the early morning hours can be incredibly powerful for several reasons. First, these hours are considered spiritually potent in many traditions. It's believed that during this time, the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds is thinner, making it easier for our intentions to be received and manifested. Second, by setting intentions early in the morning, you're programming your subconscious mind right at the start of your day. This can influence your thoughts, decisions, and actions throughout the day, often in subtle ways you might not even notice consciously. Third, setting intentions helps to give your day direction and purpose. Instead of just reacting to whatever comes your way, you're proactively choosing how you want to approach your experiences. Fourth, regular intention setting can help you align more closely with your higher self or your spiritual path. Over time, you might notice that your intentions become more aligned with your deepest values and spiritual goals. Now, you might be wondering, what if I set an intention and then forget about it as soon as I start my busy day? This is a common concern, and it's important to address it. The truth is, even if you consciously forget your intention, the act of setting it has already made an impact. Your subconscious mind remembers, and it will influence your behavior in subtle ways. However, If you want to keep your intention more present in your awareness throughout the day, here are a few tips. Write it down. After you set your intention, jot it down in a journal or on a sticky note. Place it somewhere you'll see it during the day. Set reminders. Use your phone to set periodic reminders of your intention throughout the day. Use triggers. Choose a common action or site as a trigger to remind you of your intention. For example, every time you take a sip of water, you could remind yourself of your intention. Check in. Take a moment at lunch or in the evening to reflect on how you've been aligning with your intention. Remember, the goal isn't to perfectly embody your intention every moment of the day. It's about setting a direction, a guiding principle for your day. Some days you'll feel very aligned with your intention, and other days you might struggle. That's okay. The power is in the practice, in consistently setting intentions and doing your best to align with them. As you continue this practice of setting intentions during your early morning wake-ups, you might start to notice some interesting effects. You might find that your days feel more purposeful and aligned. You might notice that you're making decisions more in line with your higher self or your spiritual values. You might even find that opportunities aligned with your intentions start showing up in your life more frequently. This practice of intention setting, combined with mindful breathing and gratitude, creates a powerful spiritual routine for those early morning hours. Instead of feeling frustrated when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you now have a toolkit to transform this time into a profound opportunity for spiritual growth and personal development. Remember, the key to all of these practices, mindful breathing, gratitude, and intention setting, is consistency and patience. Don't expect dramatic changes overnight. Instead, commit to practicing regularly when you find yourself awake during these hours. Over time, you're likely to notice subtle but meaningful shifts in your mindset, your day-to-day experiences, and your overall sense of spiritual connection. By embracing these early morning wake-ups as opportunities for spiritual practice, you're not just making the best of a disrupted night's sleep. You're tapping into a powerful time for personal growth and spiritual connection. You're aligning yourself with the natural rhythms of the universe and setting yourself up for more conscious, intentional living. Certainly, I'll continue with the remaining sections from the outline and add a conclusion, maintaining the same style and tone. Now that we've explored the 3 powerful practices to make the most of your early morning awakenings, it's equally important to discuss what not to do during these spiritually charged hours. By avoiding certain habits and behaviors, you can ensure that you're fully embracing the potential of this special time. First and foremost, resist the urge to immediately check your phone or any other electronic devices. In our hyper-connected world, it's almost a reflex to reach for our phones the moment we wake up. But when you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., this can be particularly detrimental to your spiritual practice and overall well-being. Why is checking your phone so harmful during these hours? For one, the blue light emitted by screens can disrupt your sleep-wake cycle, making it harder to fall back asleep if that's what you choose to do. But more importantly, diving into the digital world immediately floods your mind with external information, notifications, and potential stressors. This can quickly overshadow the quiet, reflective state that's ideal for spiritual connection. Instead of reaching for your phone, try to maintain the peaceful, introspective state you've cultivated through your breathing, gratitude, and intention-setting practices. Allow yourself to exist in that moment without the need for external stimulation or information. Another thing to avoid is getting caught up in negative thoughts or worry. It's natural for concerns to surface during these quiet hours when the rest of the world is asleep. Your mind might wander to unfinished tasks, relationship issues, or anxieties about the future. While it's important to acknowledge these thoughts, try not to dwell on them or let them spiral into prolonged worry sessions. Remember, the goal during this time is to connect with your higher self and the broader spiritual realm. Negative rumination can block this connection and leave you feeling drained rather than uplifted. If you find yourself caught in a loop of negative thoughts, gently guide your attention back to your breath, your gratitude practice, or your intentions for the day. It's also best to avoid immediately jumping out of bed to start your day, unless you feel a strong, positive urge to do so. While it might be tempting to use this early wake-up as a head start on your to-do list, Rushing into action can disrupt the unique spiritual potential of these hours. Allow yourself to remain in that liminal space between sleep and full wakefulness, where spiritual insights and intuitive messages often come through most clearly. Lastly, try to avoid judging or becoming frustrated with yourself if you can't immediately engage in spiritual practices or if you don't experience profound insights every time you wake up during these hours. Spiritual growth is a journey, not a destination. Some mornings you might feel deeply connected and inspired, while others might feel ordinary or even challenging. Accept each experience for what it is, knowing that consistency in your practice is more important than any single morning's results. By avoiding these common pitfalls, you create space for a more enriching and spiritually nourishing experience during your early morning awakenings. Now, let's explore how you can make this practice a consistent part of your spiritual journey. Transforming your early morning awakenings into a regular spiritual practice doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, consistency, and a gentle commitment to your own growth. Let's explore how you can make these 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. practices a habit, turning what might have once been a source of frustration into a cherished part of your spiritual routine. First, it's important to set realistic expectations. You're not aiming to wake up at 3 a.m. every single night. That would likely be disruptive to your overall health and well-being. Instead, the goal is to be prepared to make the most of these awakenings when they naturally occur. Start by committing to try these practices for at least a week whenever you find yourself awake during these early morning hours. A week gives you enough time to start experiencing the benefits without feeling overwhelmed by a long-term commitment. After the week, reflect on your experiences. How do you feel? Have you noticed any changes in your day-to-day life or your overall sense of spiritual connection? Consistency is key when it comes to spiritual practices. The more regularly you engage in these early morning rituals, the more natural and effortless they'll become. Over time, you might find that your body and mind start to anticipate these practices. You might even notice that you're waking up during these hours more frequently, as if your spirit is eager for this special time of connection. To help you remember what to do when you wake up, consider creating a simple reminder for yourself. This could be a note on your bedside table, a special symbol or object near your bed, or even a gentle alarm label on your phone, though remember, we want to avoid looking at screens during this time. The reminder should be something that quickly brings to mind your intention to engage in your spiritual practices. It can also be helpful to prepare your space before you go to bed each night. Perhaps you want to have a journal and pen nearby for recording any insights that come during your early morning practices. You might choose to set out a special cushion or blanket that you use only for these spiritual moments. Creating a dedicated space, even if it's just a corner of your bedroom, can help signal to your mind and spirit that it's time for spiritual connection. Remember, building a new habit takes time. There might be mornings when you forget to do your practices, or when you feel too tired or distracted to engage fully. That's okay. Treat yourself with kindness and simply return to your practices the next time you wake up during these hours. Every time you choose to engage in these spiritual practices instead of reaching for your phone or worrying, you're strengthening this new habit. As you continue with these practices, you might want to keep a journal of your experiences. Note any patterns you observe, insights you receive, or changes you notice in your daily life. This can not only help you stay motivated, but also provide valuable insights into your spiritual journey. You might also consider sharing your experiences with like-minded friends or joining a spiritual community. Discussing your practices with others can provide encouragement, accountability, and new perspectives. However, remember that your early morning spiritual routine is deeply personal. What works for others might not work for you, and that's perfectly fine. Trust your own intuition and experiences as you develop this practice. Lastly, be open to evolving your practice over time. As you grow spiritually, you might feel called to add new elements to your early morning routine or to modify the practices we've discussed. Perhaps you want to incorporate a short meditation, some gentle stretching, or a specific prayer or mantra. Allow your practice to grow and change with you, always staying true to what feels most nourishing and aligned for your spirit. By committing to these practices and making them a consistent part of your life, you're not just changing your reaction to early morning awakenings. You're potentially transforming your entire approach to spirituality, personal growth, and daily living. Now, let's move on to hear about some real-life experiences with these early morning spiritual practices. To truly understand the power of these early morning spiritual practices, it can be helpful to hear about real-life experiences. While everyone's spiritual journey is unique, sharing stories can provide inspiration and affirmation that we're not alone in our experiences. So, let me share with you my own story of how embracing these 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. awakenings transformed my life. A few years ago, I found myself consistently waking up around 3:30 a.m., night after night. At first, it was incredibly frustrating. I would toss and turn, checking the clock every few minutes, worrying about how tired I'd be the next day. I tried everything to stop these awakenings, changing my diet, adjusting my bedtime, even sleep medications. Nothing seemed to work. Then, I stumbled across the idea that these early morning hours might have spiritual significance. Skeptical but desperate for a solution, I decided to give it a try. The first night I woke up at 3:30 a.m., instead of getting frustrated, I took a deep breath and started with the mindful breathing practice we discussed earlier. To my surprise, I felt a sense of calm wash over me almost immediately. As I focused on my breath, the anxiety about not sleeping melted away. I felt fully present in the moment, aware of the quiet of the night around me in a way I'd never experienced before. Encouraged by this, I moved on to the gratitude practice. As I thought about things I was grateful for, I felt a warmth spreading through my chest. I realized how many blessings I had in my life that I often overlooked in the busyness of my days. Finally, I set an intention for the coming day. I remember that first intention clearly. I intend to approach my day with openness and compassion. It felt powerful to start my day with such a clear, positive focus. To my amazement, I drifted back to sleep after about 30 minutes, feeling peaceful and centered. When I woke up for the day, I felt more rested than I had in months, despite the middle of the night awakening. As I continued this practice over the following weeks and months, I noticed significant changes in my life. The frustration I used to feel about waking up early disappeared completely. Instead, I began to look forward to these quiet moments of spiritual connection. I found that my days began to flow more smoothly. The intention I set each morning seemed to guide my actions and reactions throughout the day. I became more patient with my family, more focused at work, and more attuned to the small joys in everyday life. Perhaps most surprisingly, I started to have profound insights during these early morning hours. Solutions to problems I'd been struggling with would suddenly become clear. Creative ideas for projects would pop into my mind. I even had moments of what I can only describe as spiritual revelation, deep understandings about life and my place in the universe that filled me with awe and peace. Over time, I noticed that I was becoming more intuitive in my daily life. It was as if the connection I was forming with my higher self during those early morning hours was extending into the rest of my day. I found myself making better decisions, more aligned with my true values and purpose. My relationships improved too. The gratitude practice helped me appreciate my loved ones more deeply, and the sense of calm and centeredness I cultivated each morning made me a better listener and more compassionate friend. Now, several years into this practice, I can honestly say that those early morning awakenings, which I once saw as a nuisance, have become one of the greatest blessings in my life. They've become sacred time, a daily opportunity to connect with myself, with the universe, and with the divine. Of course, not every morning is profound. There are still nights when I sleep straight through and mornings when I struggle to focus on my practices. But the overall impact on my life has been transformative. Those quiet hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. have become a cornerstone of my spiritual practice, a daily renewal that sets the tone for a life lived with greater purpose, joy, and connection. Remember, your journey might look different from mine. You might experience different insights, face different challenges, or find that certain aspects of the practice resonate more strongly with you. That's the beauty of spiritual growth. It's a deeply personal journey. but I hope that sharing my story gives you a sense of the potential these early morning spiritual practices hold. As we wrap up, I encourage you to approach your own early morning awakenings with an open mind and heart. You never know. Those hours you once dreaded might become the most precious part of your day, a daily date with your highest self and the infinite wisdom of the universe. As we come to the end of our exploration of the spiritual significance of waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., let's take a moment to recap the key points we've discussed and reflect on the potential impact of this practice in your life. We began by understanding why these early morning hours are considered spiritually potent across various traditions. We learned that this time, often called the spiritual hour or holy hour, is believed to be when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is at its thinnest, offering a unique opportunity for spiritual connection and growth. We then delved into 3 powerful practices to make the most of these early awakenings. Mindful breathing, a simple yet profound practice to center yourself, calm your mind, and create a space of inner stillness. Gratitude practice, a way to shift your energy, open your heart, and align yourself with the abundance of the universe. Intention setting, a practice to harness the spiritual power of these hours to shape your day and, ultimately, your life. We also discussed what not to do during these hours, emphasizing the importance of avoiding digital distractions and negative thought patterns. We explored how to make this a consistent habit, understanding that spiritual growth is a journey that requires patience and persistence. Finally, we shared a personal story to illustrate the potential transformative power of embracing these early morning awakenings as a spiritual practice. As you move forward from here, I encourage you to approach your own early morning awakenings with a new perspective. Instead of seeing them as disruptions to your sleep, try to view them as invitations to connect more deeply with yourself, with the universe, and with whatever you consider divine. Remember, this practice is not about forcing yourself to wake up at 3 a.m. every day. It's about being prepared to make the most of these awakenings when they naturally occur. It's about transforming what might have been moments of frustration into opportunities for profound spiritual growth. As you begin to implement these practices, be patient with yourself. Some mornings you might feel deeply connected and inspired, while others might feel ordinary or even challenging. This is all part of the journey. What matters most is your commitment to showing up for yourself, to dedicating this time to your spiritual growth. Over time, you might find that these early morning spiritual practices begin to ripple out into other areas of your life. You might notice increased intuition, greater emotional balance, improved relationships, or a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in your daily activities. You might find yourself more attuned to the subtle guidance of the universe, more aligned with your true self and your highest path. Remember, the ultimate goal of any spiritual practice is not just to have profound experiences during the practice itself, but to integrate those insights and that sense of connection into your everyday life. Let the peace, clarity, and sense of purpose you cultivate during these early morning hours infuse every aspect of your being. As we close, I want to thank you for joining me on this exploration of the spiritual potential of early morning awakenings. By being open to this practice, you're taking a significant step on your spiritual journey. You're choosing to see the magic in the mundane, to find spiritual significance in what many would consider an inconvenience. I invite you to start tonight. Set the intention before you go to sleep that if you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you'll engage in these practices. Who knows? Tomorrow morning might be the beginning of a profound shift in your spiritual life. Remember, every spiritual journey is unique. Trust your own experiences, listen to your intuition, and allow your practice to evolve in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to you. The universe is always speaking to us. In these early morning hours, you might just find that perfect stillness to hear its whispers. Thank you for your attention and openness. May your early morning awakenings become gateways to profound spiritual growth and deep inner peace. Sweet dreams and magical awakenings.